Well guys, BDBSSB, back here. I did the LED strip last week and I got distracted, had some things going on the weekend, so I didn't get to follow up. I wanted to show you how the blinking works. I talked about moving the UVs down one, but I wanted to show you some other cool little things we can do this as well. But the first thing I want to do is, I've had a lot of people ask me this question. I'm going to try to get this bird with two birds with one stone here. I guess it's going to take some more time, but if you simply just duplicate an item like that, and you just want to change colors on it, even if you come up here and change the name, so a new LED light, like so, as soon as you change, scroll button got me. As soon as you change the color on this guy, so if we want to make it red, say, as you can see, it changed the one on the one that's not selected because they're sharing the same material name. So LED lights material, LED lights material. So the way to get around this is you have to export it. File, export selection. Like I said, they're sharing materials. So anything you do to that object is going to make everything on this inside this file change with it that shares those materials. So we're just going to go new material, like so, and then we're going to minimize this, and then if we go in here, right click, edit material, or edit, sorry, I'm going to get rid of these files too so we're not confusing me along with others. So we can come in here and go, okay, I want to make new lights, new LED lights material, right? And hit save. Well, it's not as simple as that either, because we didn't change anything. We didn't change this diffuse color, we didn't change the variation, we didn't change any of these numbers. So now if we just simply come in to Giants Editor and import new material, well, guess what? It still says LED lights material there. So if I take this guy and move it like so, and I come down here and I go, okay, let's go make this guy white. Well, guess what? It changed both of them again. So obviously that didn't work. So what we need to do is we just need to trick the system a little bit. So if we come down here, very rarely do you get out to color material 7, because that's just a lot of colors in one object, is I'm just going to simply make this a 0.2. And you can see that inside here as well. If you scroll on down, see how material 7 is a 0.1. So we made it a 0.2. I'm going to hit save. Like I said, we did change the name, and here's where you got to watch it too. It doesn't care about the name, so I could make this LED lights material, and there's still two different materials. They're going to have a different material ID right here, but they're still different. It could get really confusing, so do make sure that you get your names right. And you know, I try to name them this way too. I go lowercase for the first word, uppercase, uppercase. Then when you separate with an underscore, you can go back to lowercase. That's a good format to follow, just for future reference as well. So now when I come in here and import new material, we have LED lights, and I should have changed the name, which that can be changed in the XML version of the i3D as well, if that made any sense. I call that code when you're in this mode, and then everything here would be GUI. It's graphical user interface. But as you can see, we have new LED lights material, and we have LED lights material. You know, get less confusing, we can go into here and go ahead and change it, new LED lights, and we take it, Control X, throw it right back into the same transform, Control V, just move it over to the right a little bit, and you can see we know it worked because it's red, that one's white. And just so there's no confusion, we'll go right back to that same color mask here, and we just add a 1. It made it yellow, and this guy stayed white. So being it's harder to export it back into Blender, change the UV area and export it back out. Now if you wanted to keep the same material name and just change it with different UVs, then you'd have to move it, from color material 0 in Blender to color material 1. Then you could have the same material. That can be done as well. If you want to do it the quick and easy way, that's just the way I suggest it. You're just going to have another material name is all. And I'll show you the same thing will happen. People go to export out of Blender as well. They'll have this issue where they'll have different materials, and it's going to merge them, because what it's doing is it's saving redundancy in file space and names. It doesn't want to have two materials that are identical be separate. It's a waste of space. It's just they've done really good on saving data. So I guess to kind of show you the same thing here, if we go into Blender, I hit Shift A and we'll just do a plane, Move it up there, Shift D, move it here. We go to material. This is just I'm just gonna simply do a material 1. Now if I simply go hit all to select all, file, export, i3D, we want to make sure we have selected objects. We don't want to export the log. I'm just going to hit export, successful. Now we go into the folder here. How did I even export that? I probably put it in some bogus folder, didn't I? File, export, i3D. Yeah, I put it in owner documents. I don't really want to do that, so let's delete that while I'm thinking of it. Go in here. We're just going to call it untitled because it's not used. Export. Sorry about that. So if we go in and open this up in i3 or in Notepad, we have 2 materials. We have material 01, 001. We have material. Cool. So when we open in a Giants editor, it should be the same, right? Well, like I said, the only thing that's different is the name. So as soon as we open it up, we got plain, material 001, plain 001 is material 001. So we'd have that same problem, and like I said right here, you can see the albedo color, just as an idea. That's the only thing that's really the same or used as a color in this guy anyway, is that. So what you need to do is we need to play a game a little bit. Again, we can come in here, go edit, notepad, and I can simply just change this guy to 0.2 because it's just a color. It's no attributes of the material or anything, so we don't have to worry about messing anything up. Now when I hit save, minimize this guy, open it back up, and presto, we have material 001 and we have material. So now we have 2 separate materials, and you can see where it's actually made it. I have to zoom in a little bit. You can actually see the difference, and it's just a diffuse color. Now Shy Wizard, every time we get in this conversation in Discord, says, well, just when you export from Blender, and he's right. The easiest way to do this is to just fix it in Blender. Now if you're using a shader variation, you could go down to the shader and do it, but honestly the simplest thing you can do is go to this base color, like so, just change it to yellow. You grab this guy, change it, you don't even have to change the second one, they're going to be different. So now when you go file, export, I gotta select all, file, export, i3D, we're just going to call this untitled 1, export. Now when we come down and look at this guy with Notepad, as you can see, they don't match. So I don't even have to change anything. I can simply open it up, and we have material 001 and just material. So I just wanted to show that. I get a lot of questions about I'm exporting out, I got this different materials, but they're all the same when I get them. Something has to be different, or Giants Editor is going to merge them, is what's going on. So anyhow, that took an extra 10 minutes to show that. I just wanted to kind of run over that. It kind of goes along with this video because we're messing with materials. Now what I did is I went ahead and exported the old light out because I want to show you how I also cheat. Blender lets you apply shaders, but it doesn't let you do the map images as far as like the normal and specular, and I just like doing it in Notepad because I just feel like it's a little quicker and easier, like personally. And I'll show you how I do that. So we're going to actually go close this guy out. I don't want to save it. We're going to open up our old file that we were messing with the original LED lights. And what I want to do is I want to show a couple of tricks here. And first thing I want to do is bring up this. Go ahead and start this so you can kind of see it. I'm going to try to start doing this. I always forget to do it. So whenever I hit a button, you can see what I'm actually doing. And that one didn't do anything. So I'm going to select him. I'm going to zoom in. Actually at 1. Zoom in. I'm going to get rid of that. So it gives us a little more to look at. So first thing I want to show is we want to do some cutting and trimming here, kinda. But as you can see, this is kind of goofy looking. It's not a straight look across. And if I simply just come in here and hit Control R to a loop, as you can see, it's not liking it because it's using triangles, and the game just used triangles. That's just, as soon as you export this, it's going to go right back to what this is. But I want to show you how you can change that if you want to make it a little easier to to start editing. So I'm just going to hit A to select all, and I'm going to go to face, and I'm going to go tries to quads. And when we did that, now we have these nice straight lines. Now something else I need to do is I need to get these vertices to line up. So I'm going to grab that, I'm going to go to wireframe, grab these tops. So if we go scale z-axis 0, it's just going to straighten these out across on an average of where they were. It just lines them all up. Because if I hit that control loop in here, control R to make a loop, see how it's not straight, it's kind of at an angle? I don't want that. I want to make a nice clean cut again. So we're just going to grab these guys, again, scale Z0. So we have straight lines. Now I'm going to hit control R, I'm just going to add a loop. I'm going to click once to accept, hit escape because I don't want to move it. Come over here, control R, one loop, left click, escape again to apply. Now the first time I was doing this, okay, we'll just take this guy, we're just going to go scale Z, and if you watch up here in the corner you can see where I end up scaling. So scale Z, you know, I was thinking, okay, like 1.5 looks good, right? Well, it's fine until we look here and we're like, uh-oh, we got a problem here, we got a crooked post and it's not going to look right on that mirror. So can't do that. Hit control Z. So one trick I learned with watching Blender Guru, look him up on Blender if you guys, or YouTube if you guys are trying to learn some things that I can't show you because I'm just not that great. That's why he's called Blender Guru. I just get myself around Blender. Shy Wizard does an excellent job. I'm just not that good. There's ways you can change your orientation up here, your pivot points, but I watched Guru one day doing this. If you just hit GG, you can move it right up and down that line, your vertices. If I go to this view, you can see better, just right up and down. Now I figured right in there, once again, if you up in the upper left hand corner, I thought like right in here, like 0.25 looked good. So I just want GG and negative 0.25. And then I grab these vertices and just go the other way, GG, oops, GG. Now this is what don't make sense, is down, even though up was a negative, down is a negative again. I'm not quite sure how that works, but anyway, negative 0.25. So now we go back to the front view. It looks like kind of a nice cut. The reason I'm doing this is I want to make one section of these LED still, and then the other section blinker. It's just something different, you know, whatever. I just thought it looked kind of cool. So I'm not really sure what I want to make the lights and what I want the blinkers. I think we'll make the center part the lights. So we'll go ahead and go to face mode right now. We'll just grab these sets of faces right there, and we're just going to it still looks kind of crooked to me for some reason, but anyway, hit P for the separate, and then we're going to do it by selection. We're going to tab into object mode. So we're going to go ahead, I think I decided we're going to call these the LED lights, right? So material is, keep that because that's the LED lights. We're going to grab these, we're going to hit F2, we're going to call this LED blinker. And when I say blinkers, we're going to have to eventually separate these so we have a left and a right. It wouldn't do no good to have a blinker and not have two of them because the only thing that would work is four ways, right? So what I need to do then, and you have to do this in object mode, is we can actually remove that material, add a new material, and we're going to call this LED blinker underscore material. So now we have the LED lights, which we can hit F2 and get rid of the 001, and that's using the LED light material and LED blinker material. So the only thing is we'd have to come in and add this shader and everything, but I'm going to show you how I get away with that. I'm not even going to mess with that section. What we need to look at though is on the LED lights we had the Vertex color, which is there, and on the LED blinker we have the Vertex color. Well, here's the problem. We want it to be orange, and we need to paint it to make it orange. Because what it does is it actually looks at the vertex. Remember how I talked about before we didn't have to move it because by default it was white, so it just made a white light. So we want to take these blinkers, we're going to go into texture paint like so. Scroll in here if we can get a good look at them, and we need to go to vertex paint, and I'm going to choose a darker orange. I want to make, because when it lights it up, it flushes it out. So once again, around the LED blinkers, we're going to simply just kind of paint these guys. You want to make sure you get it fully covered. If you don't, it's going to show white. It's going to look funny. And for some reason, I'm having troubles getting the bottom one there. There we go. Had to hit that face right. It's, like I said, it's a little goofy in the paint. Not sure why it's still. Should just be able to fill. I haven't messed with the fill. Maybe it will let me. Or if it would. Still looking a little weird down there. I don't know if I forgot. No, because I actually. Oh, I think it's just a light. If I turn the shading different. Yeah, it's just the way the light's reflecting off of it. I'm pretty sure we got it all orange. We'll find out when we get into Blender or Giants Editor if we didn't. Okay, back to modeling. So now, like I had said before, if we leave it right here, I'm going to show you what's going to happen. Well, and I don't need to show you guys because it's just wasting time. I showed you that I was changing a blinker and nothing was happening. So what I need to do is, there's the lights, there's the blinker. I'm going to hit tab to go into object. I wonder if that was what was going on. I wasn't in object mode when I was in texture paint, or I'm sorry, Vertex paint. Yeah, it's still. I think it's just a shading. Sorry, once again, wasting time here. So we're going to go to modeling. We're going to make sure we're in object mode. Object mode. We want the blinkers. We're going to hit tab, hit A for all, so it's selecting those faces, and we're in the sync mode that we talked about. Now here's the issue with that material selector. It's built into this exporter. If we go to pick UDIMs, the lowest you can go is color material 0. So we can't use the selector for this. We can use the control U and move UDIMs relatively and then actually arrow it down like so. Or sometimes I'll just simply go G, Y, -1, and it just moved it down one grid by doing that. Same thing, you go X1 and it'll move it over that way. So we are done as far as I know in here. Object mode. Object mode. I'm going to go ahead and Control A, rotation and scale. Control A, rotation and scale. Another thing that Shy always does too is he makes sure that the auto smooth is selected. So I almost got out of here and forgot one more thing. We need to separate these guys. So back to this mode. So this is our lights. These are blinkers. So I need to go tab into edit mode, and I'm going to simply go back to wire. I'm going to deselect these. I'm going to hit P, selection, tab back out again. So we're into object. So this is our right blinker, so F2. This is going to be home right LED blinker. So this is going to be our F2 home left, left LED blinker. And the reason I did all the painting and everything before I separated them is now I don't have to worry about coming here and messing with those materials, because it's still LED blinker material. We wanted that to stay. We want to share the materials. We don't want to have issues where we get out and yeah, anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply hit A for all, file, we're going to save as, and we're going to call this blinker, and enter, and now when we come into, and did I manage to do that again? File, export, i3D. That's odd. I don't even know where I could have swore I exported that, but okay, we'll try this again. So blinker, i3D. I must have just saved it. That's what it was. So export. There we go. We exported it. And there's the blinker. Okay. So what I want to show you is how to cheat a little bit here. We can go ahead and open this. It'll make it so I'll show you what I'm talking about here as well. I want to make sure the materials did change. There's LED lights material. Here's our blinkers. We have LED blinker. And the reason that is because of the different vertex colors and everything. So I'm going to have to zoom into this guy. So what I want to show you is if I simply select these LED blinkers now and I come on down, even though they're still white, the cool thing about this is if I scroll down here, and actually I gotta add in the shaders yet anyway, so I'm gonna cheat like we talked about. Do not save. Now what I want to show you is if I come here and edit, it has all the shape info. So if we simply if we simply open this guy up, come on. And save it as a binary, save as blinker, binary, save, yes to overwrite, close it out. Now when we get into this guy, edit with notepad, it's a lot cleaner. See what I'm saying? There's not all the extra shape information. But I'm going to cheat with those materials and bring it in. See how there's just a one file? I'm going to take this old light that I exported like so, and I am going to move to other view as I'm going to actually copy this material information over to this file. Now what we got to watch is, remember, we want the LED blinker and we want the LED lights. So what I'm going to simply do is I'm just going to grab this section to paste over, Control V, because I want to actually just take this material, Control C, I'm going to enter, paste there, and I want the LED blinker material, Control V, and LED lights material. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. I want to make sure that I had the two names. And you gotta make sure you delete the right section now. So we start with materials, and end with materials, and with material, 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 material. So we have LED material or blinker material and LED lights material. Now once again, I gotta watch this because I have two identical materials with nothing. In fact, even the material IDs are identical. So what I do to cheat here is, this is the first one, so we're just going to just do a 1 4 times. So 1 2 3 4, and I'm going to make this 1 2 3 4. So the trick here is if you use a high enough number, Giant Setter is going to just overwrite this number and make the lowest number possible anyway, but I want to use a number that isn't going to be high or low enough to mess something up with any kind of material IDs or any IDs at all. So I just made a 1 1 1 1 and 2 2 2 2. If you do any kind of fruit adding on a map, it's kind of the same concept. But then so that it doesn't merge it again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to come down here, I'm just going to make this one a 0.2 so that it doesn't merge these on me. So now we have LED blinker material with ID 111, LED lights material 222. Now you also have to come down on the LED blinker. We need to match that material on the shapefile. So that's the blinker. So these guys here, we want materials, Control V, Control V, and then for LED lights, Control C, Control V. If I was to save this and try to open it, it wouldn't have been able to find the material IDs, because you have to have material ID here, and then this is material IDs. Them have to match up. So basically, by me doing this, I don't have to go in and find the shader, find all the files. I can just simply hit save, back out of here, and now when I open this blinker, as long as I didn't not copy something right, we have no errors, no warnings, so that's a good sign. Now when I zoom in here, now we simply have LED light with LED lights material, and we have the blinker with LED blinker material. So pretty simple, right? Now if I just hit save again, this is the cool thing I was talking about. When we come in here and go edit, I'll reload it. As you can see, it renamed those material numbers to 4 and a 5. Just wanted to kind of show you that. Now it was probably confusing because of the way I did it, but oops, I didn't want to do that. I just told it to reload, but if I same thing, edit, instead of having the 1 1 1 1 right here and the 2 2 2 2, we have a 4 and a 5. So that's what I wanted to show. Now once again, same thing. If I want to come into this blinker, and show you what it's going to look like when it actually starts blinking. So the LED lights, as you've seen before in the last video, if we come on down, if we go to light control and hit, say, 100, just to make it really bright, F, it's all lit up. But if I come down and I try to do something on the blinker side, I hit a 1, as you can see, nothing's happening. I zoom in and out, nothing's happening. I'm going to put that back to 0. I'm going to put this back to 0. Now if I go to the left LED blinker, now the cool thing is it shares material to the right, so we can just watch the right when I do this. Now when we go to light control and hit 1, it lights it up orange. Now this is the cool part. You can leave that white if you want. Come on. So it would actually be a light color, so it would look LED, and as soon as it lights up, so even if we want to say 10, so I got really bright, it's actually an orange LED light. So it's just something to think about if you wanted to mess with that. Now, here's the cool thing. When you go to blink offset, if I hit a 1, now nothing's happening right now. What we actually have to do is we have to either come into the scene and move, or you can simply just hold your, I think you have to hold a button or tap. So if I just hit the space bar right now, it actually does it. It's actually continuing to blink. Or if I come up here and hit play, then no matter what I do, it's going to continue to blink. And then it's doing the same thing on the left side. It's just I was showing how saving materials. Anytime they share materials, when I change something on one, see how it made it dimmer on both of them? Now here's the issue. I'm going to show you the problem I had. If you don't zero these out, it shows up in the store. I was doing a video and I had to start it over because I couldn't figure out what I was doing. I thought I had something messed up in UVs, but I just want to show you what happens if you don't clear these out. You got to leave the blinker offset on, but you got to clear the light control out. If you don't, then you'll have some issues in the store. So what I want to do, I'm going to zero that light control out right now, is I want to show you how we can actually make this an orange color. And we could come in here and go, okay, let's try to make this color material orange. So I'd have to start figuring, okay, there's red, green, blue. So if we get rid of the blue, it's yellow, and then I'm going to have to start manipulating these numbers. Well, I'm not smart enough to do that. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to actually come in here and just hit save again quick, so that all those changes happened in here. In fact, I had it open, so I'm going to hit no, close it, hit no, and I could have hit reload, but I don't like doing that as a rule of thumb. If we go into the data files, and I have a shortcut to it on my desktop, so FS19 data, shared, we can cheat here. There's brand colors, and I talk about this in a couple other videos as well. As far as, I'm just going to grab, see how this says orange? Well, if I simply just take this line here and I hit Control C, we don't want to grab 1 because that's material type, and I go, here's my blinker material, so I want to go to color material 0, and I'm just going to paste those numbers right there. And I won't even get rid of this 0.2 because I think it'll make it a darker orange if I just make this 0. Now when I hit save and we go into that i3D, here, and we open it now. Now the cool thing is I actually changed that color by cheating with a material given to you by the game. See how it's a nice dark orange now. In fact, if we hit just open a light up, it's just going to show you what it looks like in game. Like I said, if you wanted to put the 0.2 back in or whatever, now it's going to actually look like a blinker is my point. So get rid of that light. And like I said, you could come in there and actually play with these numbers, but I don't have much luck at that. I don't have the patience for one. And I think you can even, no, that's the diffuse color you can actually play with and select. But like you might actually, if you go into albedo, there's somewhere in here you can choose colors and kind of play around. It would probably give you the numbers you need, and there's a way to convert them. But like I said, when they give you the colors, like if you wanted a green, you could go to John Deere Green and make it green. But I'm just going to simply hit save here. I always try to save it in Giants Editor again, just to I just feel like it rewrites things and makes it a little better rather than just saving right from the XML and bringing it in. I was going to say I was going to make sure I had this on here just to show you what I was having issues with before. And I think the lights you can put it to light control 1 and it's not an issue. It's just the blinkers that have the problem. So hit save, and we'll go back to the harvester. I'm going to import blinker. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply take these guys, I'm going to cut them, and I'm going to come into here, I'm going to paste. I'm going to get rid of the old LED lights, like so, and now we have the nice strip right there. So I'm going to hit save. Now I need to go in, I need to bring up the big X, XML. Nope. I don't need that brand color anymore. I'm going to hit Control F, default, light. Oh. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat as well here. I'm not going to map it. I had something else going on here. I'm just going to put the shader nodes in here because once again we should know how to map by now. If not, I show how to do that in the last video as well. So the LED lights are still going to be the 990. So that's what's going on there. It's in the default lights. I think I was testing something. But now I want a left and a right. Control C. Enter. Paste that in. So I want the left LED. I'm going to grab that index path. I'm going to simply put it there. And then I want the right LED. Grab the index path. Put it there. So we have our left turn signal and our right turn signal. And we could do the intensity on this one as well, but I haven't had too many issues with the intensity of the blinkers, so just leave that alone for now. Now when we open up the game, I'm going to show you what happened because I left that light node on in the file. It causes a little bit of a hiccup. I fought this and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I had to actually, and if you have those issues, look at stuff in game. Start comparing the shader numbers and settings, and that's what I ended up doing. Is I looked at the blinker settings or the file settings on the default vehicle and go, oh, okay, that's what's going on. I had the light control on in the file, and you don't want it on in the file because if you think about it, any vehicle you see in the store or in Giant's Editor, all the lights aren't blinking. So we hit tab. So it's not an issue out here in the game when it's functioning. It just if I hit 2, that's going to be our hazard lights. 1 be our left blinker. 3 be our right blinker. I hit F to turn on the lights, and that turned on as well. So it's good there, but as soon as I went into the store and went into here, opened this guy up, I started looking. I was like, what in the world's going on? The hazard lights are on. So like I said, simply all I had to do is come into the blinkers and just scroll on down and just shut that light control off. Hit save. It didn't seem to matter on the actual LEDs. You couldn't see them on in the store, but I'm going to just do it there as well. Just less going on in the store image that way, or in the store file that way. So now when we come in here and escape out, and it resets when you just escape out of the store and come back. And as you can see now, well, maybe not. Oh, you know what? I did hit save, right? Yep, save. Left LED. Okay, hopefully this works okay. I had to stop my recording because the phone was going off, and now I gotta see if I can merge these together. Okay, sorry I was messing around here. So let me just go back in the game and do a reset of the vehicle. I thought I could just simply, we're good there. 2, 1, 3. Okay. Go back into the store. Okay, yeah. So I had to physically reset. I don't know why it didn't take the first time, but as you can see now, it's not blinking in the store. So that light offset in Giant's Editor can cause some issues for you if you don't get it fixed. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully I get this to edit correctly in a video file, or I just did a whole tutorial and lost the last 30 seconds of it for nothing. But that is it. Hopefully this was helpful to you guys. Like I said, if you want to leave it white, the thing is the Vertex paint is what it is from Blender. If you want to change what color when it emits, you have to go in and change that in Blender. Male users, it might be a little different. I don't know. You might be able to change that. But that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully this was helpful. You guys can do what you want with it, do something different. I just thought this was kind of a cool example. Till next time, we'll catch you guys later.